Hey singers, happy Monday evening here on the East Coast of the United States. When you pop on, I would love for you to say hi in the comments and let me know where you're watching from. I have a new book for us to look at tonight. We did the first two lives with a little portion from the Renee Fleming, The Inner Voice. And tonight I have a little section from this amazing book called Complete Preparation from the coach conductor, written by the coach conductor, Joan Dornemann. It is fantastic. It's written for classical singers to help them get ready for auditions. But there's a wealth of goodness for any singer, regardless of your genre. So please give me a shout out in the comments. Say hi when you log in, when you join, and let me know where you're watching from. I'd love to know where you're from. So this book is called Complete Preparation, A Guide to Auditioning for Opera, written by Joan Dornemann. See if I can look at just a tiny bit of her bio here. One of the most highly respected opera coaches in the world today, in her position as assistant conductor of the Metropolitan Opera, not too shabby, she prepares the most prominent international artists for their performances at the Met. And y'all, I just can't get over the fact that, like, for a few bucks on Amazon, we can buy something that somebody like this has written for us. Let's see if we can read a little more of her bio. Okay, and then it goes on to list some of the prestigious artists that she has, I guess, prepared, like Pavarotti, Placido Domingo, Morelli Freni, who, by the way, is one of my very favorite singers in the whole world, the Italian soprano Morelli Freni, Cheryl Milnes. That's a family that's very special to me from some opera training that I've done. Kiri Tekhanawa, Renata Scotto, Marilyn Horn. Oh yeah, quite the list here. Very good. So if you've just popped on, I am looking at a little portion of Complete Preparation, a guide to auditioning for opera. And I would love for you to say hi in the chat and let me know where you're watching from. This is chapter 10 in the book. So if you have this book, it's page 109. And it says, an audition is really a performance. There is not one rule for performing and another for auditioning. All we want, hey, thanks for being here. Hey. Tennessee, fabulous. Good evening from Idaho. Y'all, this is so cool. I love YouTube. Very, very cool. Idaho, is it like freezing there right now? Is it really cold in Idaho right now? I would guess that it is. I'm in the Southeast and it was pretty warm today. It's really, I love your lives. Well, I'm so glad. I'm so glad you're here. Can you read a Dog Man book? I'm sure I could. I think it would be kind of fun, actually, to read books out loud. Yeah, very cool. 65 last week, and now it's 40. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, I actually don't know much about Idaho. I've never visited Idaho. All right, cool. So again, we are in Complete Preparation. This is the Joan Dornemann book, and I'm reading just a little bit about auditions and how an audition is actually really a performance. St. Louis, very cool. Yes, love it, love it. Let's see. She says, there is not one rule for performing and another for auditioning. All we want you to do is share yourself musically and emotionally. It is not a test, and we are not a jury. It's an opportunity to let people know who you are, what your talent is like, what your strengths are, and what is wonderful about you. Like a blind date, the idea may not be fun, but the actual experience can be interesting and satisfying. So I'm so glad that you enjoy the live streams. I'm going to try to do more of them because I enjoy them too. And it's fun to get on here and chat about some different vocal books and to read from some of the greats, to read from some of the masters. And it was like I was saying earlier, like it just blows my mind that you can get a book like this for like a couple bucks on Amazon and just get so much richness, just a wealth of experience. This says, singers very often lose sight of the fact that their talents are needed and wanted, that in fact the auditioners are there to see them. Singers are the lifeblood of this business. This, of course, she's speaking of the operatic business, but we could, apply that again to any performance, in any genre. And without them, opera conductors, coaches, prompters, and opera directors can't do their jobs or the music that we all love. As a singer matures and has gone the audition route many times, he or she often begins to feel that they are wasting their energy and that their work is not respected by the listeners. A certain resentment can set in, which results in a poor attitude, poor cooperation, poor singing, and poor preparation. All of which leads to lack of employment, and the vicious circle has begun. Okay, there is so much we can unpack here about mindset and about how we actually can create our reality for ourselves, good or bad, by the way we choose to think about things. This is page 110 in audition preparation. Again, I'm just going to give this book a shout out because y'all, it is so good. Auditioning is part of your lives. So this is, assuming that we're training young singers here. If it doesn't work out, you do it again. It's relatively costly, but not more costly than giving up your career. It's just a necessary part. I remember as a young singer doing lots and lots of auditions. And honestly, that's the only way to get good at it is just doing lots of auditions. I tell my students all the time, unless you are just not interested in the role or the part, you should audition for everything you can because there's an art to auditioning and you need the experience. Until you're out of that unfortunate position of having to audition, I don't know what else you can do. It's a buyer's market, after all, she says. If you needed to sell your home, you wouldn't think twice about people wanting to see the house early in the morning. It's never too much trouble. If you want to sublet your apartment, you show it to whomever has the credentials to rent it. Some people come 4 times, some don't show up. It's part of the game. And guess what? If you don't like it, you take your house off the market. Competition judges, opera company administrators, conductors, and managers are all waiting to discover the next great singer. I promise you, they will not let a great singer get away from them. Often it's the singers who are close, but not quite there, who sometimes slip away. Again, like what a life lesson there. How often are we so close to what it is we've been working for, but we let the doubt take over and we give up right before it could be ours for the taking. Let's see. Cool. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Please put in the comments where you're watching from. I love to hear from y'all and hear where you're watching from. Very good. Thanks, Irish Bro. Awesome. Okay, so let's keep going here. Sheer numbers of singers is frequently the reason. In other words, the competition is so fierce that singers are like, I'm just going to give up. There's no point in even trying. So that kind of defeatist mentality that can rob us from the life we want happens more often than not. We have to guard against that big time. Let's see. The people who are listening may have been there since 10 o'clock in the morning, and you may be singer number 486. Y'all, it is that competitive. It really is. If you have auditioned at any point in your life, would you let us know in the comments? Like if you have auditioned for an opera or an oratorio or a musical theater show, like or a play, let us know in the comments. I would love to know if you have done any auditions. If you are sensational, if you really deliver, the auditioners will be engaged and grateful. Believe me. But if you come in and are protective, not ready to display your talent, unwilling to communicate, not prepared to give everything you have, the people who have been sitting still since early morning can fall into a kind of tedium, hard as they try to fight it. These people want something. They love singing and singers. They are excited about great potential, as well as the talent that's ready to go. They're hungry for something. Give it to them. Yeah. I mean, think about like a job interview, right? Like you're going in for a job interview, you're scared to death, but they want to hire the right person. Like the people interviewing are looking for someone to hire. Show them that you're that person. Be unapologetically yourself. Don't give in to fear. That's the moral of the story here. Remember that it's not only the beginning singer who has to audition. As you develop, you will find that your voice has grown and changed, and your repertoire has also changed. In the middle of your career, you may find that you're singing different music or should be singing different music than you were before. And so there is a re-auditioning for the opera company because, y'all, our voices change throughout our careers. Our bodies change, our voices change. Our voices are housed in our bodies, right? Or should I say there is the reinformation process. So this is page 111, if you're just now joining us, from Complete Preparation, a guide to auditioning for opera, written by the very famous Metropolitan Opera conductor coach, Joan Dornemann. Showing who you are. She says, I think the word audition is a misnomer. Let's call it an infodition instead. You're making yourself available to be heard, and you're giving people information about yourself, information they need and want. I can't think of a single circumstance where you don't want people to know about you if you're ready. So then, of course, there's the whole purpose of this book is preparation, is making sure that you actually have done the hard work and done the preparation before. Okay, sorry, I'm getting all kinds of notifications, y'all. If you're watching and you haven't put yet in the comments where you're from, please put in the comments where you're from. Love to give you a shout out, love to say hi, and welcome you. Thank you so much for being here. I'm really, really glad you're part of my community here on YouTube. She says, yet sometimes singers act as if they don't want auditioners to know anything about them at all. I've heard so many auditions of singers who were amazingly ill prepared. Ooh, that's not good. With no more idea of style than the man in the moon. No differentiation in style between Mozart and Mascagni. No attempt to bring us a display of their vocal qualities or abilities. Great crescendo, warm low notes, a gorgeous silvery, delicate quality, for instance, by choosing the right kind of music. Languages are all over the place. So I don't know how many of you are classical singers, but in classical singing, you have to be really well-versed in the diction of Yeah. You have to be really well versed in French, German, Italian, certainly English. So there's a lot of language preparation that has to happen in addition to all of the musical preparation. So that's what she's talking about there. Okay, let's see. She says, when comments are made about these problems, it's easy to say, yes, yes, I know that, but I didn't have time, or my coach wasn't available. Yeah, I mean, that's just like the typical excuses, right? No excuses. No excuses. Do your work. Do your preparation. Be ready. Be prepared. All right, y'all, I'm going to see if I can kind of get a little bit better light here. I've got to get a better lighting situation so I'm not completely in the dark. How to prepare. Okay, again, this is audition prep, right? She says, now let's take a look at what faces you not only at the audition, but also before it. You've got to know yourself. I cannot emphasize this enough. Some people can't work a full day and then do an audition. And if you're one of those people, you need to take the day off. Same with a job interview. Like, you just have to know yourself. You have to know, how much can I give ahead of time? Right? Some people need peace and quiet on audition day. Others prefer to be more social. So like she says, know yourself. Know what it is that you need to perform really well in an audition. Some people find a coaching on the day of an audition useful. Some find it better the day before. I think I'm one of those that I don't want a whole lot of new information right before I'm about to do a performance or a coaching. Like, that needs to happen for me a week or two before so that I have time to get some of those things in my voice and in my body. Tell me in the comments for you, how is that? Can you hear some, some new ideas right before you go into a coaching or an audition, or like an audition or a performance? Or are you like more like me and you need to hear it well in advance? Some shouldn't coach for several days before because for them, the improvements are confusing. There are those who want to rehearse with their accompanist right before the audition. Find out what works best for you and do that. I want to remind you that it is crucial to rehearse. Accompanists are part of the music. Okay, that is so important. Hey, I'm on a live.
Oh, what's up?
Cool. Thanks. Very good. I'm happy for you, bud. Let's see. So she says, I want to remind you that it is crucial to rehearse. Accompanists are part of the music. Yes, accompanists are your partner in the music. In an opera audition, your accompanist is the whole orchestra, okay? They're playing a reduction, which means they're playing a piano part that is taken from all of the orchestral parts and written into what we call a piano reduction, so that the pianist can play it with just two hands, right? So your relationship with your accompanist, with your pianist, is really, really important. And I teach my students this all the time. Like, you need to treat your pianist like gold, because we cannot function without our pianist. Hey, hey! I love it. Y'all, please say hi when you join in and let me know where you're from. I love it. We've had, I'm gonna scroll back here so that I can see and remind everybody. We've got somebody from St. Louis, somebody from Tennessee, Big G Jones from Tennessee, Joel Hall from Idaho. Very cool. St. Louis, Jim J. I love this so much, y'all. This is so cool. Side bow. Okay. Minnesota. So awesome. Welcome. I am so glad y'all are here. Thank you for being here in my music room here with me as we are reading. If you have just joined, we are reading a little excerpt of Complete Preparation. This is written by a fabulous woman named Joan Dornemann, who was like assistant conductor, I think, for a while at the Metropolitan Opera in New York City, as well as vocal coach. And she's just, her wisdom is gold. for any singer, no matter your genre. Okay, make sure I'm not missing anybody here. Yeah, cool. Thanks for letting me know where you're watching from, y'all. Just pop in the comments so I can give you a shout out. Okay, so a little bit more on this audition journey with Joan Dornemann. She says accompanists should want to rehearse under most circumstances. And if they don't, she says, I suggest you find another one. Well, that's hashtag truth bomb, right? This is only a part of good, solid preparation, the kind that's going to make you feel great as you walk out on stage. The preparation continues with the flattering dress or suit that doesn't upstage you, the comfortable shined shoes you've had on before. She says, bring one little package that can hold declinger. That's no joke. Like that static guard kind of stuff. I'm telling you, if you need that, if you are stuck and you need that, it is miserable not to have that. So that's a good word. Special vitamin pills, again, you have to know yourself. Water is critical, of course. Oh, and by the way, with water, you need to be well hydrated the day before. Don't wait until the day. Like, make sure you're really, really well hydrated the day before your concert or your performance. She says a lucky charm, a spritzer bottle of water, if only to keep the air in front of you moist. I mean, it's true. Like, a lot of these big stages and halls can be really dusty. So, something to think about. She says, after all, if the Met can spray the stage for 5 full minutes before a singer walks out on it, you can certainly spray the air in front of you. Spray a little on your handkerchief. How many of y'all carry a handkerchief around? That cracks me up. I'm like, I don't think I've ever carried a handkerchief. And breathe the humidity. Don't allow yourself to get dry. Laryngologists recommend that for singers, especially on performance days, the normal 8 glasses of water can be added to, even doubled. Okay. Spend time learning how to deal with your nerves. Okay, there's no one paragraph that can even begin to touch the whole performance anxiety nerves thing. In the live I did last with a little Renee Fleming clip, she alludes to that. And I know I've seen interviews with her before where she talks about like how her nerves were absolutely debilitating. Like she almost didn't have a career because her nerves were such a force, such a beast that she had to just conquer. And she did, thank goodness. Where would the world be without Renee Fleming and her gorgeous voice? Okay, do you need to sit quietly in a corner or distract yourself with some light conversation? Do you need to don headphones and listen to a meditation tape or some soothing music? Read a book? Whatever you do, keep your breaths deep and calm, especially as you approach the stage. So again, I think the theme we're hearing here over and over and over when it comes to auditions is you have to know yourself. And you learn to know yourself from having done auditions over and over and over, and you learn from each one. You learn how much talking you want to do in the hall ahead of time. You learn how much warming up you want to do ahead of time. Warming up is important, but too much can really mess you up. So you just have to get really good at knowing what's right for you. We have many remedies for bad nerves nowadays: biofeedback, imagery, massage, the advantages of so much knowledge about exercise. And of course, all of that research has grown tremendously since this book was published. Find what helps you handle your nerves and use it. Nervousness is at times unavoidable, and you have to learn to sing through a nervous state. Even translate it into a kind of excitement. But paralytic nervousness is not normal. Be assured that you can discover a way to handle it, though you may have to search a little harder for the answer than most. The process of waiting, sometimes a long time when the audition is running late, can be very difficult. You may need to run into the ladies' or men's room. Hold on a second, y'all. I'm just trying to you see my Christmas box out there. The lighting's right a lot better here, but you're going to see my mess. We got the Christmas stuff down out of the attic this weekend. I was determined that we would get some preparation. Speaking of preparation, some preparation done. Tell me in the comments, are you one of those that you're like, oh no, we don't do any Christmas until after Thanksgiving? Or are you okay with like doing a little Christmas deco or prep before Thanksgiving? Let me know in the comments. The process of waiting sometimes a long time when the audition is running late can be difficult. Yeah, because you're nervous. You're like, enough already. I'm ready to sing. Don't make me wait any longer. But I mean, of course, we have no control over that. We just have to wait until it's our turn. So she says you may need to run into the ladies' or men's room or go outside and do a few scales. Ooh, little soulfish, shout out. Scales, y'all. Do your scales. So important. I'm going to do a video on that sometime and just like say it over and over. Scales are critical for singers. Scales are so important. Pianists do scales all the time. Why in the world would singers think we're exempt? Sing your scales. Okay. Sorry. I think that's called a rabbit trail. Okay, so she says, know when you need to rev up ahead of time before singing a piece and how you have to vocalize. Again, it's a question of knowing what your voice requires. Sometimes it's personality, sometimes it's experience, level of experience. So just get to know yourself. Talk to your teacher. I am okay with either. So tell me, do you have any Christmas stuff up yet in your house? I have, I really only have, let's see, I'm looking over here at the tree up. My son got the tree up for us. Yes. Very cool. Awesome. We're going to do our decorating once we get home from Thanksgiving. I'm really excited about that. I have an evening off, like once we get home from Thanksgiving, that we've set aside, my husband and I both do, that we've set aside for some decorating. So let me know in the comments, y'all. Do you decorate for Christmas before Thanksgiving? Or are you like no way, we have to get things through Thanksgiving first? I have a cute reindeer. Very fun. Is it like ceramic or wooden? I have this adorable wooden horse. It's like a carousel horse. I thrifted it somewhere. And I was thinking this year, like, oh my gosh, I need to put like a little red ribbon. Oh, after you want to decorate after Thanksgiving. I know some people are like diehard. Like was it our minister yesterday that was saying that, I think it was our minister that was saying that like he absolutely is not allowed to decorate or play Christmas music. That's what it was, until after Thanksgiving. Somebody in my life, I think it was our minister that said that. But anyway, I was like, all right, people feel very strongly about it, I think usually. Well, the next part is about the actual audition. And Joan Dornemann says, by the way, this is page 113 on complete preparation, if you're just now joining in. Fluffy, and it plays Rudolph. Oh, so it's like a stuffed animal reindeer. Cool. And it plays Rudolph. That's a great song. We should sing it together, y'all. You know, Dasher and Dancer and Prancer. Okay, very good. So she says the audition. Finally, your name is called. For a consequential audition, be sure you have a pianist you know and trust. Yeah, if this is a big audition, if this is like the Met competition or some big important thing for your career, do not just go in there and unrehearsed with any pianist. Like, make sure that you know, have rehearsed with hopefully your pianist, or at least rehearsed well with a staff pianist, if not the pianist that you normally work with. If you're not from the city where you're auditioning, it's a good idea to coach with someone when you get there who will then either play for you or help you find an accompanist. Yes, that's good. Names of coaches can be obtained from the opera companies in that city or from your friends. If you use an accompanist provided by the listeners, be sure that you know your tempi. So tempi just means your tempo, your rate of speed that you're going to be taking your piece, and that you can communicate them to the pianist by being a strong leader. Okay, I got to go off on a tangent here for a second. Y'all, you have got to know how to give your pianist the right tempo. Okay, so I'm a conductor. In addition to being a singer, I am a full-time director of music in a church, right? So I have to give the tempo all the time to our accompanist, to the pianist, to the organist, to the handbell ringers. Yesterday in church, the handbell ringers played. They have got to be able to get a correct tempo from me. So you as a singer need to learn how to give your pianist the tempo. And ideally, you would learn to do it like within a bar, right? So let's say you're singing Caro mio ben, credimi al men. Right? So that tempo is bum, 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 bum. You want to give the tempo of whatever the big beat is. Okay? Whatever that steady pulse is. Bum, 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 bum. That should be enough. If you just show them bum, 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 very quietly, very discreetly, because the truth is, I mean, unless you're doing a big audition or a big competition, a lot of times you actually really don't have a lot of time ahead of time. I mean, sometimes you really do have to go in there and give the tempo and sing like on the spot. So make sure you learn how to give a very clear tempo with just a couple of beats. That doesn't sound like enough. Well, it should be, well, actually that's a really good point. Let me say this. Y'all, you're seeing another Christmas box over there, okay? Don't worry, those boxes will be taken care of after Thanksgiving. Maybe, we hope. Yeah, it depends on the skill level of your pianist, right? I mean, for instance, like my handbell ringers, I'll give them a full bar. Like, let's say the song is in 4. I'll give them 1, 2, 3, 4, ring, 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 to give them enough time to really establish the tempo. If you have a really good pianist, like when you're a choral conductor, you only usually give 1 beat. If the song starts on beat 1, you go sing or play. So it's play, 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 play. You give 1 beat usually, But if it's someone who's inexperienced, hopefully, I mean, you don't need to be having some inexperienced pianist play your audition anyway. That's never a good idea. But if it's someone that's inexperienced playing for whatever reason, then that's true. You really may need to give them 2 bars even. Oh my gosh, that's that's a scary thought, but it's possible that could be. She says, assuming you have brought your own accompanist, it's advisable to talk to your pianist in advance and plan your entrance. The song I was singing is Caro mio ben. It's a very famous Italian song from what we as teachers we jokingly call the book like the Italian, what do we call it? Like a greatest hits, But it's usually like a book of like 24 or 27, and they tend to be earlier Italian music, or from like the Baroque era. Anyway, it's super common. When I adjudicate competitions, I will often hear that, or if I'm sitting in on college auditions, I'll hear that piece a whole lot. She says that this is crucial, this business of talking to your pianist in advance, so that one of you is not impaled on the point of the piano. She's talking about like planning your entrance, so that the pianist doesn't try to walk behind the singer as the singer hugs the nook of the piano. I've seen both approaches. It's your audition, so know what you're doing. It's best not to leave it up to the pianist. As you walk out, hold your head up and enjoy the moment, or at least look like it. Y'all, my grandma was a performer, and I will never forget some of the lessons she taught me. But my grandma taught me that old expression, fake it till you make it. And there is so much power in that truth, right? Look at me. I'm still over here looking for the light. Looking for the light, y'all. Looking for good light. Fake it till you make it. That's what my grandma taught me. Even if you're not confident when you go out there, you need to look like you are. And here's the beautiful thing. The more you look like you're confident, it tells your body that you're confident. You have to teach your body how it feels to be confident before you are actually confident. Go out there looking confident. Wear something that makes you feel fantastic. Wear shoes. Oh, that's a whole, I could do a whole little short. Maybe I'll do a short sometime on the kind of shoes you wear and practicing in your shoes ahead of time. Okay, we got to go on because I don't want to keep you here all night. She says, I've seen both approaches. It's your audition, so you know what you're doing. It's best not to leave it up to the pianist. As you walk out, hold your head up and enjoy the moment. My grandma, yes, amazing woman. And you know that very well. You know how amazing she was. Oh, love her so much. It's what you've worked for. Make your entrance. Make your entrance, singers. Unapologetic. Get out there, stand strong, and show them what you've got. That's what you do when you walk into an audition. Sometimes you're in a strange city and haven't brought your own accompanist, or your accompanist is ill, or your accompanist is also playing for the person right before you and is already on stage. The point is, if you must give the accompanist your music on stage, it's better to go to the upstage side of the piano. If you go downstage, it's a somewhat less pretty picture. I love her language. I love this so much, especially if you turn your back to the judges and lean over to show the accompanist a cut in the music. The 5 pounds you've wanted to lose is there for all the world to see. Who cares, y'all? Don't worry about that. That's old school. We don't need to worry about that. And please, please make sure your music is in good shape for the accompanist to read. Now that's old school, new school. That's all the schools. That's true. Make sure the pianist can read your music. Y'all, you've paid too many thousands of dollars in training and you have spent money to get to this audition and you've taken off work and you've bought all the things. Make sure the pianist can read your darn music. That's like, yes. Okay, never hand a pianist anything with loose staples. Do not use shiny covers on your music, which will reflect the light and leave you singing a cappella, which literally translated means in the chapel, as in the chapel, because back in the day, hundreds and hundreds of years ago, it was just voices in the church and no musical accompaniment. It's often quite a revelation in my classes for students to hear from other students how they come across when they give their name and announce their aria. Aggressive, fearful, shy, angry. It also comes as a revelation that this introduction has to be rehearsed and announced into a tape recorder and in front of a mirror so that you can see yourself and hear yourself. These steps are necessary because inaudibility can be a big problem when singers announce themselves, even with all that projection training. Okay, this is a no-brainer. If you say that you're an opera singer, which means you use your body to amplify your sound. An opera singer does not use a microphone to amplify the sound. You use your body and the singer's formant, which is produced from very efficient resonance. Don't go in there and be all shy in your audition and say, hi, I'm Beth Roy. I'm here to sing Oh Mio Babino. Oh, no, 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 no. You've got to show them that you can use your big, well-trained, beautifully resonant and efficient voice when you speak, not only when you sing. We convey a lot about ourselves by the way we speak. All right. Let's see. Also, singers' innermost thoughts are often very apparent, and some of them are better left off their faces. And if this opening is not prepared, it's easy to trip over the name of a composer or title of the aria. Your pronunciation of the title of the aria and the opera is just as important when you speak as when you sing. Decide ahead of time what language you are using for the title of the opera. For instance, I will sing Devieni non tardar from The Marriage of Figaro or Le Nozze di Figaro. So you have to decide if it's, an Italian opera, am I going to say the title of the opera in English, or am I going to say the title of the opera in Italian? And if you're going to say it in, there's the light. If you're going to say it in Italian, you darn well better know how to pronounce it, okay? And look, I make mistakes too. I mean, I tripped over an Italian name earlier in this live stream. It happens, but if you're preparing for an audition, make sure you've got that, okay? Let's see. It's also a gracious gesture to announce the name of your accompanist, who is, after all, a partner in your audition. Yes, but you can remain facing out as you do so. These first minutes are your minutes. I love listening to the wonderful soprano Judith Raskin teaching singers to say, instead of my name is, to say, I am Jane Smith. So she preferred it to be said that way. A small but unique difference. And we'll stop there. I think that's a really good place to stop. Thank you so much for being part of my community here on YouTube. And if ever I can help you with your singing, if there are videos that you would like to see made addressing specific concerns you have about your voice, even if it's your speaking voice, I would be more than happy to make some videos. If there's just something that's a real pain point for you, like I hate the way my voice sounds, or I struggle with my high notes, or my voice feels weak, or all of those kinds of things, feel free to drop me a comment in one of my videos. I try to check my comments, and I would be more than happy to address some of your vocal concerns. So thanks so much for hanging with me this evening, and I will talk to you soon.